inside a business, you've chosen to be a mover. So there's 4 types of components, 4 types of people you need in a business. You need a creator. That's the person that has 200 ideas per month and only does 1 or 2 of them if they're lucky, because they don't have a team together. That's what a creator is. Has all these great ideas, and the creator comes up with ideas that they know are going to change the world. And then a mover is a person that says, yeah, creator, I like your plan. I've seen it. And guess what? The mover knows what to do today to keep creating the business 5 years into the future. Okay? So a mover's like, oh yeah, we're going to create a delivery service. We're going to deliver things to people's homes. I know that in 5 years, we're going to have to do it differently than we're doing it today. But I'm going to start doing everything I need to do today to prepare for that. Mm-hmm. A connector is someone who just loves to talk to everyone. There's a total delight of being to stand in front of a crowd of 100,000 people and just go, or 1-to-1, and just say, hi, 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 hi. Oh, I got to tell you about this. Oh, that's beautiful. I'd love to listen to you.
That's like a marketing.
Yeah, it's a personal relations person. Those people that just love to connect and chat. And then a foundational person does all of those. So you're primarily a mover by what you said with what your body had to say, and secondarily foundation. So you do everything because you have to, and you'd prefer to be the person that sees the future on what's required to create something, which is exactly our conversation. Because our conversation is, you're talking about, well, I keep doing all this and that, but it's not creating what I know is possible in the future. I need to be doing not A or B, I need to do C. Okay? You're acknowledging you need to be the connector mover personality in an interview. You move the energies and you connect the people to what you know is possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right. So that's the foundational piece of yourself. So everywhere that you have decided that it's wrong, that you can't choose what you want to choose, would you destroy and uncreate all that is times God's in. Good, bad, right or wrong, pock and pot, all night shorts, boys and youngs. And what have you made vital, valuable, and real to always align and then train yourself to being a Chinese woman, negating the capacity you have as a being. And everything that is, we destroy and uncreate times God's in. Good, bad, right or wrong, pock and pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. And all the projections, rejections, expectations, and conclusions of your country, would you destroy and uncreate all those?
Yes, please.
Good, bad, right or wrong, pock and pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. And all the projections, rejections, expectations, and conclusions of your race, would you destroy and uncreate all those?
Yes, please.
Good, bad, right or wrong, pock and pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. And all the projections, rejections, expectations, and conclusions of your family about you, would you destroy and uncreate all those and return them to sender?
Yes, please.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Good, bad, right or wrong, pock and pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, so more space or less?
Seems like there's still something there.
Well, I'm asking from a place of, do you have more space or less? And if you had more space, would that also include more uncomfortable?
Not really more space.
Okay. Well, don't worry. You'll get there. I've seen you. You are a bulldozer. To go, when you choose to go where you want to go, you will push anything out of the way. I got that.
Yeah, that's true.
I have no doubts that you will get where you want to go. If you cannot move it, you will eat it.
I exploded. I create another reality beyond reality.
Or you could dig a hole under it. You could dig a hole under it if you can't move it.
I create a brand new universe.
Yeah.
Yay!
So, great. So you want to do an interview show, right?
Yeah. I you know, that excites me. Why? Because it's like I can connect everyone in a one show. And if I, for example, you are here and I'm going there, and people also get the energy of where you are, plus, you know, your energy and the energy of the place, so that the place, the space will contribute, you will contribute, and you know, that excites me. And also you make a series of the interviews. That means that it's not like one piece here and one piece there, and you have the integrated whole.
Sure.
And it's not just to interview Gary and Dane or CF, but also BF, also the practitioner, and listen to their how they practice their whatever, you know. So that includes the whole thing, because I noticed that that we have this assumption that if this person is CF, so it's like he or she is automatically knows more. And that's not contributory to the people who are not yet CF or not yet.
Yeah. Well, who told you that a BF doesn't know more than a CF?
Well, I mean, there is an assumption there.
Yeah, who's creating the assumption?
Who's creating? Well, I mean, me.
Okay, would you stop that?
Yes.
Okay, and everything that does. Look, so Haiyan, I mean, I've been in Access for 10 years because it works for me, and I've had to clear a lot of the corners of my universe out in that 10 years. But is there some places in your world that you're clearer than me right out of the gate because you spent your whole life getting clear about it?
Yeah, of course.
Like being in how to be present in a school and not have it ruin your life. See, that's something, you know how much more than me about that?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking tons or not very much?
Tons.
Fucking tons, exactly. See, you didn't even say fucking, because you know when you're in a school, you don't say fucking. It doesn't matter if you're the president, you still don't say fucking. Okay, good. So everyone has a uniqueness to them that is the essential signature of their being, and your being will come into the insanity of this world and it'll like see something and it was like, oh no, that's not happening in my world. Pling! And everyone else will be going, oh my God, it's gonna eat me, oh my God, you know, sort of thing. And so the energy everywhere that you want, you will not receive the awareness of when you know what's true for you. Would you destroy and uncreate everything that you're allowing to stay in place to not know what's true for you?
Oh, yes.
Good, bad, right, or wrong, pocket pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and men's. Now, the worst part of this is you're going to start to hear a lot of people telling lies and go, how come you said this, but I hear that. Okay? Exactly. Right. Your brain's going to go offline. So you'll start to be able to hear the lies and the truths. Yeah. Because it's the lies and the truths that we're creating our lives from. Because we decide something's true and we have to support it with lies. Because it was only true. It was only good for a second. But we tried to make it good for eternity to match the Chinese reality. The Chinese concrete.
Oh, I thought already beyond this Chinese reality.
Well, are you clearing another level of it, or did you never get past it?
Would you say it again?
Did you never clear it, or are you clearing another level of it?
Oh, another level.
Cool. You've been upgraded to the advanced level now. How much better does it get? There's only 200,000 advanced levels, so you'll never get bored.
Oh no! I want to clear them all in a blink of eyes.
Well, I wouldn't work with you in any way unless I knew that was your point of view. You're like, let's fucking do this. Let's clear it all.
Yeah.
Let's bulldoze all the stupid people into a pile.
Yeah.
No, don't take that literally. I don't really want to bulldoze people into piles because that would be a lot of work. So, cool. Well, so what's your next question around the interview piece? What do you
yeah. I will ask you to introduce yourself, right? Oh, that's normal question. Oh, am I judging myself again? Sorry. I'm judging if it's normal question or if it's outstanding question.
Well, shall we make a pact?
What?
Do you know what pact, P-A-C-T, the word is?
What does that mean?
It's like an agreement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is?
Like the Geneva Pact.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Two countries agreed to cover each other's backs no matter what.
Tell me.
Okay. So here's the pact.
Okay.
If you judge yourself at any time while we're working together, you owe me 25 cents.
Oh, okay.
Okay, deal. Now, it's interesting for me because this is the one place in my life I hope I don't get rich off of you. Good, bad, right or wrong, pock and pot, all 9 shorts, boys and girls. Cool. Okay. All right. So it's actually really simple. We just have to ask some questions to see which is the most generative place to start. Once again, to start, we just start somewhere. It's not about doing the right place to launch. It's where do we start? What do you know?
Can I ask you, like, okay, you've been in CF for 10 years.
Uh-huh.
And
you're practicing your interviewing skills. Okay, gotcha.
Hello, Matt. And yeah, well, I think I should first to say something about how did I get to know you, right? I think I came across because I've been in watching Dane's Tour of Consciousness and other Access Consciousness videos, Gary or other CFs. for quite a long time. I think mostly Dane and Gary's video. And then I came across your video. Something, I forgot, that 5 elements or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some video. I forgot. Anyway, so
Sure.
that,
Yeah. So you want to write down the 10 or a handful of points that are interesting information about your interviewer. Maybe you email them and say, tell me a few things about you that you'd like me to ask you about. Tell me a few things about you that you find you'd like the world to know more about. And then the key piece about an interviewer, especially when you're a connector and a mover, is that you are curious. You want to know more about this person. And everyone gets that right here. They're like, this person is authentic and real, and I trust them because they want to know what's the truth here. That would be the Chinese question. We need to know the truth. We do not want to know any of the not truths. Oops, sorry. We want to know the truth. And so from your culture, since you've got these tools, Haiyan, do you want to use what you know about your culture to create more in your culture?
1 second.
Even if your culture judges you.
I just turn off. Yeah.
Yeah, so are you willing to use what you know about your culture? Okay, so let me explain this a different way. So when you're talking to someone and you're in full listen mode, you're like, wow, I do not want to miss anything this person says.
Yeah.
And you're listening to them, and maybe it's a new friend or someone you meet for lunch. And when you're listening to everything they say from total curiosity, do you always know when they're speaking from a lie or a truth? You know when they're lying and when they're speaking truth. Because
that's my weakness.
Okay. That's your weakness. Okay.
So what would it take for me to always
be... being married to 3 different wives in 3 different countries for me has been very difficult, but I know it's going to create more consciousness for the planet if I marry 12 women and have 12 wives in 12 countries. The difficulty is, where do I get the other 9 wives? Okay, so everything I said was a lie there. So what energy were you aware of while I was talking?
That you want to be more conscious and have more awareness.
Right, but what was I talking about?
You talk about marrying different wives.
Yeah, I said I already have 3 wives in 3 countries, and my goal is to have 12. And once I have 12, I can change the world and make greater consciousness. Okay, everything I said was a lie. So does that sound any different than let's meet for coffee tomorrow at lunchtime? Does that sound the same or the different?
Well, the funny thing is, I tend to be curious of, you said about having 3 wives, and I want to know, oh, yeah, you had 3 wives? Tell us about that.
Sure. Okay. So what if your skill is your curiosity? Are you judging your depth of curiosity into wrongness when it's actually a strongness? Yeah. And if you asked me more about the 3 wives, would you eventually get to know if I was telling the truth or a lie?
Yeah, I eventually would know.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're fucking super smart. You're insanely smart. So everything that doesn't allow you to be insanely smart and build on that capacity from there, well, you destroy and uncreate times Godzillion.
Yes.
Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Good, bad, right or wrong, pocket pot all night, shorts, boys, mans.
Oh.
Hey, the only reason that the only thing that really 2 things. Okay, 3 things. 3 things about being a facilitator. This is just for me, and it's maybe something you can put into your interview. Is I chose to be a facilitator because I'd reached a maximum level of change at an acceptable rate in my life. I was only getting 10% change per week on something, and I was like, God damn it! I want 1,000% change. I want 5,000% change. This 10% is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so I was like, all right, so what do I need to do? And then I was like, oh, wow, okay, maybe I'll just, if I was a facilitator, what would that change for me? Because being a facilitator, the difference between being a facilitator and being like let's say a life coach or something else, is you never differentiate, you never judge between the change you can create for yourself and the change you can create for the people that you're facilitating. You always let it go both ways. It's not just one way.
Yeah.
It's not just the other way.
Mm.
It's not just I will change your life because you paid me for a session. No. That never works. How come? Because if I'm only being aware of what needs to change for you, I'm not aware of all my brilliance that I could not have exposed without this session with you. So you come to me with some problem about childhood abuse. If I have let's say I'm a facilitator and I've already decided I had no childhood abuse.
Yes.
Okay? See, I've already decided that. So that makes all kinds of conclusions. But when you said childhood abuse in our conversation earlier, I was like, oh, I was spiritually abused. See, I was never hit or never screamed at, never talked to or anything like that, but I had spiritual abuse. And as soon as you mentioned that you were physically abused, emotionally abused, and verbally abused, I was like, whoa, I had spiritual abuse. I wonder how many other types of abuse there are. See, that is being a facilitator, because I'm receiving the brilliance and the uniqueness of you and changing everything I can that you're willing to receive change around. I'm facilitating that. And also, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm going to ask questions about where have I spiritually abused myself and what can I change about this today? Okay. So that is the reason that I chose to be a CF, because it created more for everyone and I was included.
Yes.
So are you already that same energy? Is that the energy that you are demanding and desiring as an interviewer?
Yes.
To have the same change for the people you interview as for yourself.
That's true. I'm not included. I mean, yeah.
No. You're just listening to your childhood trauma there. Yeah. Ask another question. Stop listening to the trauma and ask yourself a question. Do I desire the same amount of change that I can create for others? Truth.
Yes.
See, you're fucking weird. That is not Chinese at all. Because in China, everyone outside of China knows this. Every Chinese person wants their life to change for them, and they're stuck with a point of view that they can only take care of their family or friends. It's either in an A or B universe. Has to be A or B. That's all. But the C universe opens up the doors to everything that's possible. And what if A and B just blended together and became a different possibility?
That is my strength.
Yes, yes it is. Duh. I have several people here in the room listening to my conversation. I'm just looking at them over there, and they're all like smiling, going, oh, that's me too. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm humanoid. Oh, wait a minute. He's talking about me. Oh, I thought he was talking about Haiyan. Oh, wait a minute. There's a lot of us around. This could be a really fun world. We can all play together.
Oh, to everyone.
Yeah. So everything that doesn't allow you to be the magic of curiosity that you truly be, can we destroy and uncreate times God?
Yes, please.
Good, bad, right or wrong, pocket pot, all nine shorts, boys and men's. So there's this word called naivety. How do we say it? Naivety? Naivete? Is it like a French word or something? But it means ignorant. Ignorance where you can't receive awareness beyond a certain level. You know, like some people call children naivete or naive. But that was always heavy for me when they'd say that, because I was like, could anyone actually be naive? Or is that a choice? Well, yeah. Is it a choice? Is it a reality or a choice?
It's you mean choice to be naive?
Yeah.
Choice.
Yeah, it's choice, because stupidity is the same way.
Yes.
Stupidity is when you choose, is a choice. It's when you choose to not receive awareness around a subject. So if you were enslaved in a past life, let's say you were an Egyptian slave or something, and your job was just to move blocks and build the pyramid.
Yeah.
You'd have to buy a level of stupidity and the stupidity you would buy is, this is the best life I can have. I will be very grateful for it forever.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Can I go to bathroom just to pee?
Yep, go for it. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me, Haiyan?
Yes. Yes.
Cool. Lovely. All right. So the other side of it, Haiyan, is are you an excellent listener?
Let me stand up. Truth. Am I excellent listener? Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do have this capacity to listen to beyond what's being said and receive much more than the words. So how much can you use that and use your interview platform to contribute to you and the people and the facilitators and stay in the excitement and follow the energy? If you get bored, are you willing to change your entire platform? Yeah. And do something and ask questions, okay, I need to change my platform now because it's not fun for me. Something else has to change, be added, or be augmented. Change, add, augment. Change means remove or eliminate or add to. Add is obvious. Add means to literally expand out my platform. And augment means to add an energy to the platform that makes it transmutate into something greater. And if you stay in those, add, change, or augment with your business, those three questions, your business it'll never get boring again.
Yeah.
Because you're creating your business and your business is telling you what it needs you to create it. So it's like, oh, you want to do this? Okay, hold on. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Here's what we need to do. I know this. You need to have 5 people in your interview company now. And you're like, oh, I was going to make it all about me. Oh, now I'm going to have to be responsible for 5 people. Oh, that's not a fucking question at all. Oh, how can I contribute to 5 people that contributes 5 times more to me? Oh, wait a minute. How about I just be a millionaire? Oh, what if I make so much money on this, I have to give it away for a tax break? Oh, wait a minute. I can buy a man now I have so much money. Oh.
I'll hire male prostitutes.
You could hire a male temporary husband.
I'll have 12 husbands.
Well, yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. What if you created the new platform for relationship in China and it's 1-month relationship lease so that both people can be totally present with each other and know in 30 days I can finally escape this because I've got a lot of conclusions and judgments that I'm aware of. And 30 days would be great. And then I could leave and go to Siberia. And then I can come back and pretend it didn't happen because it's legal now and just choose a new 30-day marriage lease.
Will you be on the list too?
I will be on the list. I won't be cheap, but I'll be on the list.
Yeah, husband for lease. For rent.
Husband for rent. That's great. Exactly. That could be a new website. Husbands for rent.
Yeah.
1 month, 3 month, and 6-month leases.
Yeah. That's
Call
right.
us
Or 10
for
days.
more information.
Or 1 day.
Right? Exact. 1 day to what's 3 times 30? No, 6 times 1 to 1,800 day leases. We'll make it real tricky. See, there's so many different things here.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Whew.
I think in Japan, they actually have 1 and 4 year marriage leases. They've had it for like 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think in North Europe, some country, they have like each year you have to renew your marriage certificate.
Mm-hmm. Or it expires.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You could just like go on a drinking binge that weekend. You're supposed to renew it and say, honey, I forgot to renew my marriage license.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I'm really busy this year, but let me call you next year. Love you. Bye. You know, that kind of. Cool. Okay. So this energy of what, okay. So what questions do you have coming up now?
I was wondering what would it take for each of the, what do you call the person that I need to interview? What do you call that person?
Interviewee.
Interviewee. Okay. What would it take for every interviewee to be part of this creation to add to more? add more to this creation. It's not just one person or two person.
Sure.
It's every person.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That's
you know,
right. Yeah.
That's a great question, Haiyan, because I just interviewed, you know, Sunita and I just interviewed 40 people on the energy
You mean
pool.
on the energy pool? Is that energy pool?
Yeah. And there was maybe 2 people, wait a minute, maybe 3 of those 40 people actually had any desire to contribute to us.
How do you know that?
Well, because I was asking questions.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, do they desire to contribute to us or just receive from us? I was like, okay, cool. I'll be interesting point of view. Cool. Now, did they contribute to us in ways that were beyond their mind? Yes, they all did. Hugely. Did they actually desire to contribute to anyone other than themselves? You have to ask the question. Very few did. Is that right? Is that wrong?
No, nothing right, nothing wrong. But I'm more interested in to get everybody involved and really actively contribute and create as well, create more. Add to this platform. You know, this platform is open and everybody adds their own.
Yeah. Well, what do you know? What do you know that's something you could only know because you're Chinese? Because that's a totally different way of being in society than anywhere on the planet. What do you know? And what questions can you ask? So when you go to sleep, you can wake up with like, whoa, wait a minute. I hadn't thought of that. That's very unique. How could I use that to leverage the rest of the world having a better life? What's right about being Chinese? What can I use here? And continue to be open to the question. Allow the question to work for you. It will work for you if you're willing to stop working for it. Good, bad, right or wrong, pocket pod, all 9 shorts, boys, meons. So what comes up for that? What comes up for you with that? It will work for you if you're willing to stop working for it.
Blank.
Sure. Yeah, so blank, what you're calling blank is, that's a barrier.
Oh.
Yeah, it hurts, huh? It's like, whoa, I just put that brick blank wall in my reality. And every time I try to go that way, I'm like, I'm cutting off one of the cardinal directions. I can't go north ever again because I have that blank. Right? Yeah. So when you find a blank energy, it's actually a gift. And the gift of finding a blank energy is you have just found a dead-end tunnel in your reality that you created.
So what can I be and do different to be beyond?
Yeah, well, you have 3 choices here. 1, you can bend over and run your head into it and try to put your head through the wall.
And?
Abuse of your body, abuse of your being, abuse. Okay? Number 2, you can just look at it and say, I'm blank. That's nothing. Number 3, you can go walk up to the blank and say, hello, what are you? and start using your tools. A couple of years of tools. How long has it been? A year and a half?
Well, if I begin, well, I mean a year.
A year.
However, I began to know access consciousness
Yeah.
4 or 5 years already.
So you've got 4 or 5 years of being aware there's a different possibility in the universe. Okay, cool. Yeah, so going to that wall and being aware that there's a different possibility here that very few people have chosen yet. So can you get aware of the energy of the blank? Okay, cool. And lower all your barriers to it so you can be aware of what conclusions you're using to create this. Because this is your reality. You have just chosen to create it this way. And if you were to acknowledge that, you created this reality you're in, and now you could create it differently.
Yes.
Most people immediately go to, well, I have to change these things first. Well, change comes from choice, not the other way around.
Oh.
How many people are trying to push through to change when all they had to really do was choose something out of the box and follow the energy with it?
So that blank is actually comfort zone that I created.
Okay. So may I ask you another question around that?
Yeah.
Is that your comfort zone or a comfort zone you bought?
Yes. Yeah, I comfort zone I bought, yeah.
No wonder you don't have any fucking money. Because you keep buying all these points of view from everyone and now you're out of money. Okay, would you be willing to stop aligning, agreeing, resisting, and reacting to all these points of view that deplete your money flows dynamically?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so everything, all that is, can we just, everything that brought up and everything you're allowing to stay in place, to keep that in place, will you destroy and uncreate all that is times Godzilla? Yeah. Good, bad, right or wrong, pocket pot all night, shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, cool. More space or less?
Oh,
No.
so good.
So I was talking with another person recently this week about this, and we were talking about how Asian cultures are unique. And one of the things that's unique about them is that they actually make their relatives, their dead relatives, they turn them into godlike status.
Yes.
And so any Asian person I've ever met always looks like a crowd when I talk to them energetically. It's like there's 100,000 people there. And I was just like, Gary, what is that? And he was like, well, how many Asian people have 100,000 past family generations following them around all day so that they can never know who they are? And this could apply to other cultures too, but the energy of that is really, I get it's really visceral for you. Am I projecting, or is that true?
It's true.
Yeah, exactly. So is that the blank wall that you're aware of?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everywhere you agreed, let's see. So all of your, would you be willing to recant, revoke, rescind, renounce, denounce and return to sender all your agreements, communities, fealties, blood oaths, swearings, and commitments. Anything else I forgot that's relevant in this conversation with your past generations.
Yeah.
Good, bad, right, or wrong. Pock and pot all night. Shorts, boys, meons. Okay, so have you been doing the money workbook? A little bit. Have you done it before?
You know.
A little bit. Okay. So in the money workbook, they talk about when you're acknowledging an energy that doesn't work for you, you turn it 180 degrees and you push it out. Okay?
Yeah.
So that tool was great. That was like a great way. So would you turn all the energies of your relatives, your relational dead beings that you have given more value to than you, and would you turn them all 180 degrees?
Yes.
And even if you want to send them to hell, would you just send them back to themselves? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Now, because you're Chinese, you're going to have to do this 10,000 times a day for the rest of your life.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, Jesus was not Chinese. He was Jewish.
But I'm Jesus'
You should
mother.
know this.
Oh, fuck.
What are you, like a Caucasian male born in a Chinese woman's body or something?
Oh.
I'm confused now. Oh, I don't know where to go. Oh, well. And if you like me, that means what? You're gay.
I'm gay.
Yes.
I'm lesbian. I'm gay. I'm bisexual. I am transsexual. I'm everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, the only thing that's worth being is trisexual. It just means you'll try anything once so you can get awareness.
Oh, that's what I've been doing. I try everything. Oh, that made my life really, really easy.
Oh, boy. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So what questions do you have going around where do I start with my interview platform? Ask the business. It'll give you the questions.
Business, what would be the question that I can ask Matt in this interview that would contribute the most to every one of us and contribute to more consciousness on this planet?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What? So what does it require you to do first?
You've been in access consciousness for 10 years. You have been certified facilitator in access consciousness for 10 years. And you have already facilitated many, many classes. And I have attended quite a few classes, online classes of yours. And nowadays there are quite a few facilitators from the West and from other countries to come to China to facilitate various classes. And I was wondering if you are interested in coming to China to facilitate class.
Well, thank you for that question. I actually would love to come to China. It seems that there's such a difference there, and I get bored really easy because I need a lot of new energy and dynamic environments that can challenge me. That's stuff that I'm not familiar with. And so China and Russia and even Mongolia and Austria and all those areas, they're all very interesting to me. And I know they all have common borders. So the questions that I'm asking to your question internal to my own environment is like, what change could I create there if I chose to do classes? And who, what, and when do I need to choose these things to catalyze the greatest change? And I get now was the answer to the last three. Now sort of thing. And I also sense that China is ready for a change that they haven't been ready for in thousands of years. And I was watching.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I've been watching a little bit of the social media pop news for China lately. And some of it is like there's teenage and 20-year-old Chinese kids that are literally millionaire billionaires. And that amount of people is widening and widening and widening. So there's all these people with immense amounts of money. And I'm like, wow, what if those people actually knew that they could use that money for consciousness? Because like 1% of the world, when they get a lot of money, uses their money to create more consciousness. It's a weird thing. They go into some faraway place, I guess, for lack of a better word. They go somewhere that's like anti-consciousness. Oh, I'm fine now. I've got everything made, so I can just drink margaritas and or expensive drinks and put on expensive dresses and enjoy life, and eventually I'll die. But what if I could come over there and create a change for those people who had enormous amounts of money, and that would open the doors to them knowing they could create more joy, more possibilities, more kindness with their money, and that money wasn't wrong and it also wasn't right, and they could use it to create a lighter world.
Nowadays, there are a lot of young, rich people in China. And I did notice that some of them are doing charity work. They are very much into charity work. So would you consider that as also some contributions to consciousness?
Charity work?
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting topic. Coming from the United States, everybody who's doing the right thing does charity work also. So I have that as a reference point. But when they're doing it, I'm wondering if that's to actually create more money and more possibilities for them, or they're actually interested in creating more for the charity. And I often get that the people that are doing it might just need a few more questions, like, am I doing this for me or them? And what do you get? If you were to go spend the week working for charity, would you be doing it for you or them?
For them. However, your question did arouse my awareness that some of them may be just doing it for them to gain more fame or more profit.
Well, and that may be true. Yeah, exactly. Good awareness, because it's the right thing to do. If you're going to have a lot more money, you're going to have to tell the world what that money doesn't have any value. So I will give it away to people who do not value money. Charity. Because if those people valued money, they'd go have money. The universe doesn't really care. You know, money is an energy. It's not a currency. Currency comes to you when you acknowledge money as an energy. You just like breathe it in and it's there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, if everyone knew that, would that disempower all those rich kids? Would it disempower all the charities? What would actually change if everyone knew money was as easy as breathing the air?
Wow. That's quite amazing.
Yeah. There would be no basis for war, graffiti, or unkindness. Because everyone would have everything they desire when they ask for it.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
So there are so many facilitators now coming to China, including Dane, had Being You Change the World. That was held in Shanghai. So what is your unique contribution if you come to China?
That's a great question. I'm going to start with a quick story of when I started Access to answer that question. Because when I started Access, there was like 4 different facilitators that I was like, oh, wow, I want to go to him and her and him and her. And I was like, I want to go to all of them, but I can only choose one. That was my conclusion. But after I went to a few, once I got to those events, I realized one thing. And that was that certain facilitators had an energy that was unique to me to unlock what I desired. They were a unique key to unlock the things in me that I desired. And after I realized, wow, I actually need all 4 of those facilitators. And I can choose them when I want to choose them, when the energy pops and the energy is light. And since then, what that's created is the space where what I would bring to China is, what if whatever your desires are, they're not wrong. They're actually a unique signature that you are. And you know, like, I can't tell you how many people I've sent to other facilitators when they come to me for a session or a class. And I'm like, do you act, 'cause I'm like aware that they may need something that they'll receive more from a different person with.
Wow.
Yeah. And that only comes when you're choosing consciousness. And why is that? It's because you're never worried that you're not going to have enough. You always know that ask and receive is one of the few laws in the universe that won't change. There are so few truths.
Big. This is so big.
Yeah. So I would always say, when someone asks me, well, who should I go to? And I just say, well, would you be willing to follow what makes you come alive, what pulls at you, and go there first and not make yourself wrong and just do it? You know, and I'm talking about going to Access classes or facilitators, but this is all encompassing for your entire life. If you were to start a new business, would you be willing to follow the thing that excites you? Not the right thing. Go with the light thing. Go with what makes you come alive, not what you're supposed to do. If what you're supposed to do worked, wouldn't that have worked 4 trillion years ago? Yeah, it would, but it didn't. So those people out there that are looking for something different, I would ask them, are you willing to choose differently and follow your childlike awareness that always knows what will create happiness for you? Now, not 200 years in the future. That's important too, but not, let's get you happy now and follow the person that opens the doors that you can walk through right away. And everything that doesn't allow you guys all on the studio audience to walk through those doors right now and use any of this in your life, apply this to your life immediately so you can have more happiness for you. Will you destroy and uncreate all that is?
Yes.
Our favorite magic wand, the Access Clearing Statement, which you can find out more about at www.theclearingstatement.com. And it goes like this. Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate? Good, bad, right or wrong, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And it works just like magic. You just say it, and it gets rid of all your decisions in the past that have kept you from choosing what works for you in the future.
Wow, I'm speechless. This is big. And I, especially when you said that you also refer people to other facilitators, and it's like, wow, especially in this world of competition, full of competition, and you know that there's no lack. Therefore, everything is for consciousness. So just you can just refer people to other facilitators rather than, you know, keep it to yourself. Like, oh, you're here, so I just keep, you know, you to me, rather than. So this is really big. I can really appreciate that very much. So.
Yeah.
That is so much required, in fact.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, when you're willing to be aware, you become aware of what else is possible beyond the need for survival. And just becoming aware of what's possible beyond the need for survival, can that actually create that possibility in your life right away?
Yes. So it is also like you are having conversation with universe. When you are you're not in the mode of competition, but you are in the mode of kindness and everything is to contribute to more consciousness and greater consciousness. So universe is like, oh yeah. So I receive your message, your message of being the abundance yourself and not the lack. So universe will give to you more abundance.
Exactly. Yeah, the universe is it's unlike us. It doesn't think. It has no calculating capacity. Universe is more like water. Let's say, for instance, water in the sense of, if you are at the beach and you're having an enjoyable day in the sun and you walk into the water, what does the water do?
Just to surround you.
Yeah, moves out of your way. It gives you space. And at the same time, it surrounds you and nurtures you and has no point of view about you. But at the same time, having no point of view about you, does it ever stop caring for you? Does it ever stop touching your skin and contributing the joy of water to your skin?
No.
Yeah. And as you leave, does it mourn your passing and like, oh my God, I'll never see that body again? Oh, no, it's just like it comes back together and now it's in communion with other energies in the sea again. It really has no point of view about you and always contributes to you. And why I'm telling that story is because if people were to know that the universe will always conform itself to whatever you ask, would there ever be any problems left?
No problem at all.
Yeah, all problems would cease to exist. And that's truly what I care to bring to people, is to know, there's nothing wrong with your problems, but what if we could get you to a place that's beyond problems and you received your problems as a possibility to expand your reality? What if your problems were actually the solution embedded? They were the question and the answer in the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is actually maybe more possibilities embedded.
Yeah. If your problem was a possibility embedded, how would you change the way you were being with it? Would you lower all your points of view about fixing it or changing it and just like, what is this? The true definition of presence. And if you're really diving into it and getting excited and like, wow, I'm going to go look at this from the inside out and from every point of view on the outside and really see what it's about. I created this. How cool is that? I created something. If I can create something, can I create anything? Yeah. So that's the real core, that if I could awaken that possibility in other people with the classes that I facilitate, then my life is looking really good, because I know people can start choosing to be happy. And people that are choosing to be happy are much mightier than people who are choosing to wield a sword.
How would you facilitate people who might think that they are happy?
Well, if someone thinks they're happy, I'd just be like, well, have you ever thought about being happier than that?
Yeah.
What would that be like? What if you were so happy you killed everyone because it was fun for you? No, I wouldn't say that. I'm just joking. We've all probably had a few past lives where we have been on the evil side of things, and I know I have. I'm on the good side this time, though. I'm choosing to be on the other side. Okay. But the energy of being willing to kill is the energy that people who have decided they're happy and this is good enough for them, that's the energy that they will not choose. They will not add the killing energy to kill the barriers, to cut down the blank walls that they need that killing energy for. They won't choose that because they've decided, no, this is good enough. I will stay there.
Oh. So how would you facilitate them to have that killing energy?
Well, first of all, that's a great question. First of all, if they actually came to one of my classes, because the happy people rarely come to my classes because they're already happy, But let's say a bunch of happy people who are just totally happy with their life came to my classes. I'd be asking them a few questions. And the biggest question I would ask is, are you willing to be the invitation to others to be happier than you are?
Ooh, wow.
And that often stirs up a lot of things for people. So, but I like to stir stuff up.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
would you just want to let the soup go flat and stagnant? I want to stir it up.
Like an Indian dish, you know?
Yeah. Put some more salt in it, some pepper. What else can you put in there that'd be fun? I like a lot of changing energies. So.
Mm. So tell us about your facilitation of different classes. You have facilitated foundation, I think that class, of course, and other classes as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, my specialties, as I've learned through the years, is I have a gift with bodies, and getting my hands on people's bodies often is the gift that we're all trying not to receive, and that is definitely something I'm good at. So those classes are the EBW, which is the Energetic Bodywork class. Now, I do a 4-hour intro for that class in the evening, and it's basically to introduce people to the possibilities that anything can change in their reality if they're willing to lower their barriers to other bodies. You know, how many times have you been in a crowd and you're just like, oh, I'm going to make sure I stay this far away from you at least. I do not want to touch you. If I touch you, I might explode, you know, sort of thing. And those barriers, if those are the barriers that we look to, what's the word? We look to, what is the word when you have a bomb? I'm having a verbal outage here.
Dinosaur?
What was that?
Dinosaur. Sorry, dynamite.
Dynamite. Yeah, if you were going to cut the fuse off of a dynamite stick, diffusing. There we go. Yeah. So the EBW class is about giving you the tools to diffuse your defenses with other bodies, because if you were able to be with other bodies, touch other bodies with no point of view, there's almost nothing that could stop you from changing the world. And that's my skill. Every facilitator has like a delightfully different set of skills. And then I also teach the bars. And the bars are beautiful. The bars are like the same thing. It's a diffusing system. It activates all the systems in your mind and body that allow you to diffuse the electrical and chemical components of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that have grown stagnant in your body. They're everything you're doing. How many times have you got up in the morning and the first thing you do is you make a choice on how you're feeling or what you're thinking? So that bars class, if you never went to another class, I would just go choose the facilitator you like and go to that bars class. That's what I would say. And if you get something, if you receive a lot from the bars class, because the bars will work if you allow them to work. They will change your entire reality. They will wipe out millennia of decisions, computations, and conclusions that you've made in different lifetimes in an hour session. But if you continue to do it and it continues to work for you, the foundation is the next class. And what the foundation is 4 days. 4 days of giving you the tools and the clearings to unwind everything in your reality that's wound so tightly you can't even get close to it. So it's the diffuser for all these bombs that were placed in your reality, perhaps from other lifetimes, that you can't even, like, you're like, I don't even know how to get to that. That's like a bomb buried in the ground 1,000 feet under. How do I get to that? Well, these tools help you diffuse those so you can start relaxing and enjoying your life more.
That I have to say, because the first foundation class I went to Salt Lake to attend your class,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
that was my first time. After I already I've been quite familiar, in fact, with access consciousness online and watched Dane's video and Gary's video and other facilitators. And finally, I went to Salt Lake beginning of this year to attend your boss class and foundation class. It was like, for me, it's like totally, upside down. All of my doubts and the questions about life and about all the metaphysical stuff. And it's like, oh, it's all answered in foundation class.
Yeah. Well, when you come together, like with like-minded beings who are all choosing the same radical change in their life, each time you bring 2 people together, that equals 1,000. And then you bring 3 people together and that equals 10,000. And the 4th person is like 100,000. It doesn't even make sense. But it's this energy of, when we choose consciousness, it chooses us back 100,000 times each. But so few people are willing to go outside of their comfort zone often, that this class had to be created so they actually knew they could go outside their comfort zone and change all these things. And that's the beauty of the foundation, that has really been the reason that I keep teaching it often. I try to do 20 foundations a year. So for next year, I'm upping it. I'm going to go to 25, which means I can go to Russia and China. And who knows, maybe I'll be sitting in a tent in the middle of a sheep herder's commune in Mongolia and teaching it there too. What would that take?
Yeah, how much fun would that be?
Right?
Facilitating classes in all those different countries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Good for you, Matt. Yeah. I wonder how big class would we create in China and in different countries.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited too and open to that. Right now, my schedule is starting and all these classes opening up in France and Austria in March. So I'm kind of like doing a very nonlinear path and filling in from March to now, and from March all the way through the year. But I hope I end up somewhere so far away I don't even know who I'm talking to. That's what makes me come alive. I love communing with new cultures and people that have that look in their eye. They're like, I'm ready. I want something different. And I'm like, yes, this is the planet I had hoped to be on all along. This is it. Planet Dirt Ball. Or Earth. It's a better word for it. Well, Haiyan, thank you so much for interviewing me today. I've so enjoyed this, and always enamored with how much you actually embody consciousness and are willing to bring other people, other facilitators and modalities to the public so they can know something else is possible. Huge gratitude.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much. This is my first interview, And it's like my first math class and first foundation class with Matt, and now this is my first interview with Matt. Wow!
Yeah. How much luckier do I get?
How did I get so lucky?
Yeah.
This is possible. Thank you, Matt.
Absolutely. Thank you. I totally appreciate you interviewing me too, Haiyan.
Thank you. Okay.